Noon today across all 50 states, a Wreaths Across America event took place. Keenan Mills has more from Augusta.
The nonprofit organizations have been traveling throughout Maine in preparation for Saturday's national ceremony in Arlington, Virginia. Monday's ceremony had three main focuses: remember, honor, and teach.
It's an opportunity for us to continue our remembrance of not only those who served, but their families and their extended families. Sometimes those people are forgotten. We must never forget those extended families.
While also making sure the tradition lives on with younger generations.
It's just a wonderful time to do this and remember and honor and teach our youth. The key is we've got to teach our youth today what service to country is.
It's our responsibility to teach our young people the responsibilities, the integrity, the honesty.
The ceremony itself included a presentation of the colors, the unveiling of the ceremonial wreath, and speakers touching on the sacrifices veterans have made.
We are all proud to be Americans that live in a free society made up of many people from many walks of life. The freedoms we enjoy today have not come without a price. Lying here before us in cemeteries throughout the nation are men and women who gave their lives so that we can live in freedom and without fear.
Volunteers say that the state of Maine is putting out more wreaths than ever. Starting the job in late September, volunteers state that 600 to 700 shipments of wreaths were made out of Maine balsam fir. Saturday is National Wreaths Across America Day, with over 4,000 ceremonies happening across the country and overseas, with the biggest one at Arlington National Cemetery. Keenan Mills, WABI News, Augusta.